The Spring Eternal banner is here to celebrate Easter, and this year is the Year of the Rabbit, so we can double up on the festivities. The Spring Alls for this year go to Ashe, Triandra, Bernadetta, and Harmonic Karla and Freyja. Maybe not the last time we see Freyja this year. We'll be going over everyone's stats and skills, plus talk about some build ideas. We have some insanely fast bunnies this year. The 4-star focus unit is going to be Spring Ashe. You can get him at 4-star and 5-star rarity. Ashe gets his second seasonal ult before his regular iteration, and this time he's a flying red dagger unit, not a very common unit type, only the third one in the game. For stats, Ashe has 40 HP, 43 attack, 46 speed, 32 defense, and 17 res. He comes with an attack super boon and ties for highest base attack in the class, while also just having the highest base speed. He has a respectable 32 base defense, which is actually pretty high for any dagger unit, however it comes at the cost of a poor 17 res. To put some perspective on how good Ashe's stats are, Summer Claude from last year, who is an insane 4-star focus unit, only had 38 attack and 42 speed. Claude has some other things that make him great, but just stat-wise, Ashe is pretty good. For some mode skills, Ashe brings Rally Up Speed Plus, Attack and Speed Catch 3, and Attack and Speed Rain 3. The 4-star focus seasonals have been getting some pretty wild kits in terms of inheritance. Summer Seth has the base Rally Up Speed, so you can get the plus version from Ashe, along with one of his other skills. In the Divine Codes Part 4 section, a lot of units will have Attack and Speed Catch 4. If you can get some extra Ashe copies, definitely consider keeping them for later this year. For his inheritable dagger, Ashe has the Bunny's Egg Plus. 12 Might Dagger, and if you have 125% HP, you get plus 5 attack and speed and 30% damage reduction for one hit. Interesting weapon, bringing DR into the mix and some offensive stats. Obviously, any damage reduction is great to have, and this weapon works on either phase as long as you got the HP. We have some new DR based A skills like the Remote Sparrow to combo with, and that would give you 51% damage reduction on initiations. Pretty neat setup coming with an inheritable weapon. In terms of builds and playstyles, obviously we want to use Ashe's incredible offensive stats. With Bunny's Egg, you get extra attack and speed and damage reduction to tank a hit, which definitely could keep Ashe going with physical retaliations. The simplest pairing for this weapon is to set up Desperation for later engagements. You reduce damage, hopefully stay above 25%, and then use Ashe's speed to get those follow-up attacks. Attack and Speed Catch 3 and Attack and Speed Rain help with speed battles, and you can use another Attack and Speed boosting Sacred Seal, or go with something that boosts defense. Sturdy or Steady Impact's huge defense boost plus Fall Denial would give Ashe some safety combined with the damage reduction. That could also let him use Far Trace Kanto to get away. Under the safety measure is the aforementioned Remote Sparrow, Stack DR, and hope Ashe only takes one hit. We have a new Kanto skill in this banner in Escape Route 4. It also inflicts Attack and Speed debuffs, which could stack with Attack and Speed Rain. Other strong C skills include the usual Menace and Oath for selections. Sadly, Ashe will have a hard time getting to lethality in one round. Even with Heavy Blade, that's just not enough cooldown. Another issue is going to be Follow-up Denial. You have to use Courtly Fan or Vicious Dagger to get offense into follow-up. No flow skills for ranged flyers. Something maybe worth considering is one of the effective daggers. Ashe has pretty good high base attack, and you may be able to use it with the interesting Speed Preempt. High attack plus effective damage plus ranged advantage could be fun. Maybe Raleigh Fan can substitute for the effective damage. As with most dagger builds at the moment, everyone's just waiting for a potential arcane dagger. Ashe is in a good spot to run it as long as it's not a res based weapon or something. If you want a high attack and speed ranged flyer, then Spring Ashe does pretty well. His higher defense and damage reduction weapon can keep him alive through a counterattack. Next up we have Spring Triandra. She's a colorless flying mage and of course still a dancer. Triandra brings some wild stats: 37 HP, 43 attack, 46 speed, 18 defense, and 18 res. Attack and speed super boons, full glass cannon. Very possible Triandra gets one shot by literally any attack, but if she is allowed to attack safely, then yeah, she can do some damage. For old skills, Triandra brings her Frightful Dream Dance. It inflicts -3 debuffs and applies guard on foes in current directions from Triandra and her ally. Basically, it's a ruse skill combined with dance. She also has Defensive Res Hold. This lets her further debuff foes if they get too close to the team. Triandra's unique weapon is the Nightmare's Egg. 14 might, and grants +3 speed, bringing Triandra up to 49 speed at base. If she uses Dance, grant foe penalty double to the target ally and any other ally within 2 spaces, and then inflicts panic on foes in current directions. For personal combat, if Triandra has more than 25% HP, she grants +6 attack and speed in combat. So obviously this weapon synergizes with her unique dance. Triandra inflicts -3 debuffs and foe penalty doubler turns that into -6 basically. If the foe has field buffs, panic then turns those into penalties, which further stacks with the penalty doubler. Good synergy, and it does incentivize aggressive play. For Triandra herself, she gets +6 attack and speed for extra firepower, however she does not get foe penalty doubler. To further enhance her dancing, Triandra brings the first tier 3 upgrade for the dancer only B skills. Firestar Dance 3 grants the danced ally Kanto 1 a plus 6 second speed field buff and the desperation status for 1 turn. I will say this is a pretty big glow up for the dancer B skills, which never really were meta or anything. Most players still just used Wings of Mercy for the warp in threat. This skill has some big incentives, including Kanto 1 and Desperation with no HP condition. Triandra can let someone like Ashe initiate and double safely, then get away even. Winter Dorothea has some really good synergy with this skill. She grants a free follow-up attack as a status, which is then going to work with Desperation for slower units. For the faster ones, she has Infantry Speed Tactic for no follow-up, and that also synergizes with Desperation. Now keep in mind, like most of Triandra's kit, you must dance an ally first before anything happens. If there's no dancing, Triandra doesn't provide any support power. While Firestorm Dance 3 is certainly powerful when set up, it still won't stop Wings of Mercy from just being used as an emergency warp. In terms of playstyle, Triandra does have some good colorless magic damage. You can outfit her with the usual offensive skills, but she won't double safely, and just about any counterattack will take her down. Remote Sparrow might save her, but don't bank on it. Let's now recap Triandra's dancer perks. Once danced, she gives her ally Kanto 1, Desperation, and Foe Penalty Doubler. Meanwhile, any foes in line with Triandra and her ally get hit by -3 debuffs, Guard, and Panic. Panic will synergize with Penalty Doubler to mess up the foe's field buffs, and Triandra's danced ally gets to capitalize on that. That's about it. Triandra is a great aggressive dancer for a team. For a defense team, she can help punish attackers who try to set up tank formations. She could also work without Firestorm Dance if you just want to run Rings of Mercy and maybe take out a weakened foe. For some other movement options though, you can use Aerobatics or Flyer Formation. Maybe even Oath 4 can be used if you just want to go for full damage. Regarding defense as hold, it's a fine skill for personal damage and debuffing enemies who get too close. Firestorm Dance encourages aggressive moves though, which may not be in reach of the hold debuff range, so you could change it out for something like another field buff or a movement tool like Ground Orders. That being said, Triandra can work as a dancer that sets up tanking strategies. She basically has ruse built into her kit, and she's going to emit debuffs, Panic, and Penalty Doubler. These are some great tools to have to mess with attackers from range. In the end, we have another strong dancer who is flying and has some pretty good damage potential. Firestorm Dance can enhance offensive moves while her innate dancing skills work for either phase. She's a great dancer to have for any team. Our third unit is Spring Bernadetta, who is going to be our first Blue Bow Cavalier. We still don't have a red one. Bernie is going to continue this banner's trend of absurd stats with 39 HP, 43 attack, 47 speed, 20 defense, and 25 res. Attack and speed super boons, and Bernie is going to set a new speed record for the game. Can we get much higher before the end of this BST generation? Like other spring bunnies, Bernie will have fantastic offensive stats and pretty poor defensive ones. She does have some survivability though, so Bernie might be able to stave off a hit. For old skills, Bernadetta has Draconic Aura, which is fine. She then brings Remote Sparrow back for that 30% DR, and she has the rare Defense from Smoke 3, which debuffs foes and sets allies up to attack by granting Pathfinder to the user. Very fun skills, and you can actually pass Bernie's entire kit to everyone fairly easily. Unique to Bernadetta though is going to be the Bow of Repose. 14 might accelerate specials, and at start of turn, if Bernie has full health and is within 2 spaces of an ally, she will deal 1 damage to herself and those allies. At start of combat, if Bernie has less than full HP, she gets plus $5 stats, inflicts speed and defense debuffs on the foe equal to X, and the following occurs based on the value spaces from X. Basically, Bernie has a clash type condition. X is going to be equal to the number of spaces from start to end of whoever initiated combat times 2 plus 3. This has a max of -11 speed and defense if Bernie or the enemy moves 4 spaces. As long as someone moves 1 space, Bernie gets 30% DR for 1 hit. If someone moves 2 spaces, Bernie gets offensive no follow-up and no guard. Those are some very strong effects, so you very much want Bernie to be on the offensive and using her high mobility. Moving 2 spaces gets the core effects of her weapon, as well as inflicts -7 speed and defense on the foe. She already gets plus $5 stats and accelerated specials, so combined with no follow-up and no guard, you have a fantastic kit. The best part is that Bernadetta will activate her weapon instantly because she hurts herself and her team. Winter Bernie has this mechanic, and it can lead to some very unique HP swapping shenanigans with Ardent Sacrifice or Reciprocal Aid. A downside is that this also disables any full HP skills such as the Ideal Aid skills, and you don't actually want to be healing Bernie back to full health. Be careful of who you pair with her on the team. Bow of Repose's 1 damage will also synergize with the new Escape Route 4. 1 unit is not at full health, enable Kanto 1, and this will apply even if you get hurt in combat. inflict -3 attack speed on the foe in combat. If you're not at full HP, you're going to get to warp to allies within 3 spaces. Then, if you have under 60% HP, you can warp to any ally, anywhere. Escape Route's 3's effect got bumped to 60% and has gotten 3 new effects to play with. Like other B skills, you get always active -3 attack speed debuffs. If you're hurt, you're going to get a massive 3 space warping, and you're going to get Kanto 1. Bernie should get these effects immediately, which is great, and you can also run Escape Route 4 with Fury or Push 4 type skills. An advantage over Far Trace is that you can still use Kanto without remaining movement. A 3 space Bocav can use their full attack range to initiate, and you can move 1 space after combat. Far Trace is still good though if you can get to Kanto 2 or 3 spaces, and it works at full HP as well. Very interesting new B skill though. It's going to work on any unit type, so infantry can get on the Kanto action. If you're playing Aether Raids or facing Duma, you can also use the out of combat damage from boat traps and towers to get the skill active. Having Winter or Spring Bernie can also just immediately get things rolling. If you end up wanting Bernadetta for skill inheriting reasons, you can get all of her max skills for basically anyone. Remote Sparrow only needs Swift Sparrow 2. Escape Route 4 only needs the Tier 3. Defense Res Smoke 3 only needs one of either Defense Smoke 3 or Res Smoke 3. You can get all of these from demotes or Heroic Girl units, which means Bernie can pass her whole kit in one go. Now, let's explain why Bernie uses it well herself. She hurts herself for 1 HP, which activates her weapon. It lets her warp 3 spaces, and she can use Kanto 1. If Bernie moves 2 spaces, she gets +5 tall stats, inflicts speed and defense debuffs, has offense and a follow-up to double, and no guard always charges special. Remote Sparrow adds 30% DR to stack with her weapons 30% for a 51% total, and if she takes a counterattack, then Draconic Aura procs on her second hit. After combat, Defense Res Smoke 3's debuffs and buffs activate, Bernie gets to Kanto 1 space, and she has Pathfinder, which can let allies move into attack after. Very fun kit, just add your favorite stat boost in Sacred Seal. As a bonus, thanks to Escape Route 4's 3 space warp, Bernie can technically extend her attack range by 1. If she warps to the other side of an ally 3 spaces away, that will max her speed and defense debuffs as well. You also have the full map warp if Bernie gets on really low HP. You can make some adjustments to this kit. Deadeye is also a 3 cooldown special, so it procs if Bernie takes a hit and doubles. While 50% DR is nice, an enemy special can burst Bernie down. You may have to sacrifice Escape Route, but Seal Defense 4 or Guard 4 can ensure Bernie doesn't get hit by a big bonfire. You can also just avoid getting hit entirely with Wind and Water Sweep. If you're going to go that route, run a 2 cooldown special like Ruptured Sky, or you want to use Heavy Blade to proc Deadeye, Draconic Aura, or Luna. While I like the Kanto into Defense Res Smoke Pathfinder strategy, you could take a C skill that helps Bernie's first round of combat. Menace or Rouse buffs work fine. Overall, very neat kit, chock full of top offensive abilities with a little bit of technical mechanics Bernie can provide for a team. You may want to look into the HP swapping tactics Bernie opens up, and the Kanto into Pathfinder setup is very annoying if you have to defend against it. The fact Bernie's entire kit is also very easily skill inheritable just makes her even more valuable if you do summon her. Last on the list for today is Harmonic Karla Freyja. There will be an Axe cavalry unit with 40 HP, 45 attack, 47 speed, 24 defense, and 22 res. Attack, speed, defense, super boons, because why not? Good lord. These two are all offense, full glass cannon, and you really do not want to tank their assault. For old skills, Karla doesn't bring anything new, but everything is top tier. Draconic Aura, Attack and Speed Clash 4, Flow Near Trace, and Speed Smoke 4. Very good stuff, although Karla doesn't really need anything specific besides her weapon. The devs seem to think last year's Hatari Karla was a little underrated because Harmonic Karla's sisterly war axe takes her entire weapon and makes it better. 16 might, accelerate specials, and on odd turns grant -2 special cooldown. If Karla initiates or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grant +6 attack and speed, deal true damage equal to X% of unit speed when special triggers, and if unit special triggers, except for AoE specials, disable non-special % DR effects and prevent foes' defensive specials from activating. Actually a disgusting weapon. Again, this is literally Hatari Karla's weapon, but it grants -2 cooldown on every odd turn instead of being a one-time thing. It now completely counters all % damage reduction effects and disables defensive specials as well. It turns out that when you're fully reliant on a giant special proc for your burst damage, damage reduction messes things up. Harmonic Karla does not need to worry about that anymore. As for extra true damage, it scales with her speed stat and that value of your special's max cooldown. Draconic Aura is accelerated, so it's going to count as 2 cooldown max. 2 times 10 plus 20 is 40% of Karla's speed. Fastest unit in the game will equate to a lot of extra true damage. Literally an entire regular Ashe proc on top of a special. If you place Karla with anything but an incredibly high defense tank, they're going to get obliterated. For their Harmonic skill, grant special cooldown count -2 to Karla and allies from these same titles. They also get a +6 attack and Resonance Blades. This works on Blazing Blade and Heroes units. Like with anything, on demand -2 cooldown, very strong, and Karla can get an extra +10 attack if needed. The idea is to destroy some poor soul with Karla's special. If the next turn is odd, it will recharge your special anyway, but if it's an even turn, you use the Harmonic skill to reset. You can also just use it to charge higher cooldown specials as well. There isn't too much new things to discuss regarding Harmonic Karla and Freyja's playstyle. She is Hatari Karla 2.0 that ignores damage reduction skills and defensive specials, plus her special has multiple opportunities to recharge. You simply initiate and blow up someone with an instant Draconic Aura or Luna. Clash 4 ignores attack and speed debuffs. Flow Trace lets Karla double if needed and provides Kanto, and then you got Speed Smoke for his debuffs for the rest of your team. Stack on more attack and speed since Karla scales with both. As an example for damage output, if you take the kit on the left side and assume Karla moves 2 spaces to attack, Karla will end up with 81 attack and 67 speed. Draconic Aura deals 24 damage and Sisterly War Axe adds 26 true damage. That's 50 bonus damage on top of whatever base damage is being dealt, and the enemy cannot reduce this outside of flat DR. I would go with Luna over Draconic Aura because high defense units are the only thing with a chance to survive Karla's attack. Now, she can double thanks to Flow, but take note that Karla has 0 defensive perks. Speed Smoke 4 provides dodge, but that activates after combat, so if a unit counters Karla's instant special, such as Brave Tiki, then she's in huge trouble. She's very much a unit that is much easier to deal with if you attack first. If you want to put everything into Karla's damage output, then you could use Seal Defense 4 for extra debuffs, and Attack and Defense Menace can affect a battle without fighting. A Feud skill may also work just to specifically get Karla all the advantages. You can also use Quicken Pulse to slap defenders with Dragon Fang or Astro, but then Karla cannot recharge the specials with just her -2 cooldown. If you're okay with one and done type builds, Karla is disgusting with AoE specials. 3 cooldown means she now adds 50% of her speed. Just from her base 47 speed, that becomes 23 extra true damage on the AoE itself. This can be pushed even further with Life and Death, and obviously Karla has very high base attack to hit hard regardless. Keep in mind, AoEs do not prevent DR or defensive specials, so Karla's basic attack might fail to kill if you run into those. Now, Karla can charge AoE specials or Dragon Fang with her Harmonized skill. Otherwise, you could also use cooldown support from units like Lord Asker or Legendary Hector. Both of those guys also happen to be from the same titles as Karla and Freyja, so you could get a whole team of pre-charging specials going. If you can get Karla Breath type cooldown as a status, then she has the chance to double proc some specials in combat after taking a hit. This would be good for very tanky foes, but we've mentioned that surviving counterattacks is a concern. Overall, Harmonic Karla is scary and brings a ton of burst damage that can be recharged for multiple fights. She has very little defense if you can hit her, but with cavalry reach and teammates, that may not be so easy. You can even extend Karla's one-shot range with Wings of Mercy, literally do a drive-by with her instant special for PvP modes, and that's probably job well done. We've had a lot of DR stacking speedy units as of late. That will do nothing against Karla. That'll be it for this year's Spring Banner. Good luck for those planning to summon, and we have a Tempest Trials featuring Spring Michaelis coming up. We'll talk about what he can do next time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.